What we are looking at here is what I believe is the last remaining oil derrick in the Texas Panhandle, possibly even in West Texas. Some of you further south down in the Permian Basin, you might know of one still standing down there. I haven't covered that area extensively, but I believe this is the last one in the Texas Panhandle. Brings back a lot of memories. When I was a journalism student at the Texas Tech University, one of my beats for the University Daily newspaper was the Southwest Collection there on the Texas Tech campus. The Southwest Collection is a federal government funded archival repository for all types of historical materials, original materials from ranches, businesses, coal mining companies, oil and gas exploration companies. And I developed a syndicated newspaper column just from some of those materials in the Southwest Collection. One article I did for that syndicated column I called Attic Dust was about this very location called Kellerville, Texas. Now, I wrote that article, I guess, somewhere back in 1976, 77. But I did not actually visit this location until about 1982, when I was working with the Texas Department of Agriculture and traveled extensively in all 26 counties of the Texas Panhandle. When I first came to this location, there was not just one of these derricks, there were dozens and dozens and dozens of them. And it was amazing to me as to how closely all of these wells had been drilled. It was like a forest of these old steel derricks. And it was an amazing sight to see. Well, it appears that most of those structures are now gone because, well, as I learned several years back, there was only one left, and I guess this is it, because we are at the location of Kellerville, Texas. If you want to know more about the town itself, I will try to find some resources that might be available on the internet. Probably the Texas Handbook would be a good place to start out. Don't know if there would be a copy of my article anywhere on the internet. I'll search for that too. I do know of where one saved newspaper clipping might be left. Kellerville is located in Wheeler County, and I believe it was a Wheeler County school district student who had put together a notebook on Wheeler County history, and my article was actually archived in his notebook. Let's see if I can take a little bit closer look at this old structure. You will notice that there is a modern pump jack, and it's sitting on a concrete base. There is a ladder which goes up, and you will see there appears to be some cable hanging inside the derrick there. I wish I could remember some of the details in that article. It was only 600 to 800 words long, so I doubt there would have been a lot of detail about the type of drilling they did here. And notice those two big pulleys on top of the derrick there. Now that cable that would have run over those pulleys might have been used for reworking the well, or it might have actually been used in drilling the well to begin with. A process known as cable tool drilling. I'll have to look that up to clarify that down below possibly, or maybe maybe I can add some to this video once I get back to the house. I was at another location earlier this morning shooting some ranch work, and on the way back into town I decided to get off of Interstate 40 and head north on the Kellerville exit and come take a look. Sure enough, there's only one Derrick that's left. Now, to give you some idea of how close some of these Derricks used to be together, which you would never see wells drilled so closely together like this anymore. I will pan just over to the right, and we should see another pump jack. There we go. Now these are small pump jacks, so these wells were not very deep at all. As a matter of fact, they're still not very deep using such a small pump jack. Let that traffic go by. So these are still pretty shallow wells out here. Now that pump jack there is approximately 200 feet from this well, and as I pan over you should be able to see some more pump jacks, and of course the sun goes away so I don't have a lot of contrast in this landscape right now. Now there are fewer pump jacks out here than there used to be these old steel Derricks. Some of those wells may have gone bad, but I also suspect the Texas Railroad Commission just simply does not allow wells to be so close to each other anymore. They're certainly not allowed to be drilled so close together. There's a pump jack in action there. So there is still a little bit of pumping going on. I'll continue to pan across here and zoomed out quite a bit in order to pick up more of these pump jacks. Looks like a lot of the wells that have been removed, the concrete bases for those derricks have been removed as well. So I'm glad I came out here. And this well here, once again, is about the same distance as that pump jack we saw in the very beginning. About 200 feet or so. 250 feet, I would say. Might have to clarify that. But it turned out to be a beautiful day. It's very chilly this morning, had frost in Amarillo. Now the sun is out, light breeze. I hope my dead cat on my microphone is working well. Some other things I'll point out to you is right along this fence line you see these gray looking shrubs. That is commonly called sand sage. And I'm so glad I ran across this, because I'm actually going to harvest some. This is in the right of way, and I'm sure that the landowner on the other side of the fence will not be ticked off at me for removing this sand sage. Probably wishes the county road department would remove some of it, actually, because it can take over a pasture, and you may have noticed that there were some cattle in that pasture. And this is about the right time of year to harvest this sand sage. I'm going to take it over to one of my friends, John Madden, who knows how to tie these sticks of sand sage together so that they make a nice smudge stick, as used by the Native Americans. Let me see if I can pull in here a little bit closer without losing focus. You see a lot of this sand sage in the eastern part of the Texas Panhandle, and this is also off of Caprock, in between Lila Lake and McLean, actually, straight north of Interstate 40. Something else I would like to point out is right across the road, and you don't see a whole lot of this plant in the Texas Panhandle. Once again, primarily found off east of the Caprock. This is shin oak, and this gets extremely thick. Great cover for various kinds of wildlife. Roadrunners, lizards, rabbits, jackrabbits, cottontails I should have said, jackrabbits. Well, now that one type of energy that helped develop this community area has disappeared, there are signs of another type of clean, renewable energy that has gone into place. These are highline electrical wires, electrical highline wires, towers, for transferring electrical energy from the huge number of wind chargers, giant wind chargers that have been put up in the Texas Panhandle, that is carrying a lot of this energy as far south as the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and connecting with the Texas grid, electrical grid, known as the ERCOT, Electrical Distribution Network. Now we're going to be shooting a little bit into the sun, and you'll get a snapshot of buck. There he is. Trustfully gets me around various places. Here's another style of one of those electrical transmission towers. Like I say, we're pretty much shooting straight into the sun there, so it's going to look pretty dark. And now that is looking south towards Interstate 40, where we just came from. But I thought you might be interested, so I thought I'd drive out here and take a look for myself at the last remaining Derrick and the oil derrick in the Texas Panhandle. Thank you very much for joining me.